Hey everyone, welcome back to the final video in our beginner CNC series. Today it's all about accessories that will simplify your CNC journey. Whether it's upgrading your spoil board, creating your own clamps and jigs, or even improving dust collection. We've covered a lot in this series, but trust me, these add-ons are what make your CNC journey easier. A level spoil board is the foundation of every great CNC project. The plan was to take ours up a notch, or technically, a layer, and show you how to create a thicker, sturdier spoil board to improve precision and make future projects a breeze. Now, in theory, this should have been a straightforward upgrade, but here's the thing. Sometimes what looks great on paper doesn't go quite as planned in practice, and that's exactly what happened here. So let me take you through the process, the pitfalls, and what I learned, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. I started by removing the existing spoil board and tracing it onto a sheet of 3/4 inch MDF. While I had the original spoil board in place, I pre-drilled some holes to mark their positions. It seemed like a smart shortcut at the time, but here's where things started to go sideways. After cutting the MDF and drilling through the rest of the holes, I realized they didn't quite line up as well as I'd hoped. Not ideal when precision is the name of the game. And then came the flattening process. It turns out, the working area of my CNC is slightly smaller than the spoil board. This created a small lip around the edges where the surfacing bit couldn't reach. Now, this isn't a problem if you're working on pieces that fit within the CNC's working area, but if you ever plan to work with larger materials, that lip could cause your workpiece to sit at a slight angle, and we definitely don't want that. So here's what I learned. Sometimes keeping it simple is the best route. Instead of upgrading right away, I recommend carving a grid into your existing spoil board first. It's quick, it's easy, and it's a total game changer for aligning your workpieces. Creating this grid was the smoothest part of the entire process. Using a design and easel, I set up a grid pattern, adjusted the settings for a shallow carve, and let the CNC do its thing. It's one of the most practical upgrades you can make right out of the gate. Now, about that MDF spoil board upgrade. After reflecting on what went wrong, I've identified a much easier method that also adds more functionality. I'll save those details for a dedicated video so we can give the process the attention it deserves. One accessory adjusted, lessons learned, and we're just getting started. Let's keep this momentum going. Next up, we're tackling alignment jigs. Consistency plays a big role with CNC work, and that's where an alignment jig steps in. This handy accessory ensures your X and Y axis stay consistent every time, saving you from frustration and wasted material. And the best part? You can make one yourself right on your CNC. We're diving into easel free for this one. The design? Simple. It's a right angle square. Just draw your lines, set the depth, feed, and speed rates. Need help with those numbers? Remember our AI video from earlier in the series? Your virtual assistant has your back. Don't overthink it. This design is straightforward enough for any beginner, and you'll be proud to see it come to life. For this jig, I'm sticking with trusty MDF, affordable, durable, and easy to work with. I'm making 2 jigs because having a spare never hurts. Measure twice, cut once. But let's be real, it's MDF. If we mess up, we're not breaking the bank. I never get tired of watching this thing work. It's like having a power tool personal assistant. After the CNC finishes, carefully cut the tabs to free your jig. Easel's automatic tabs keep the pieces secure during cutting so they don't flop around mid-process. Then, grab a pencil and mark a couple of spots for threaded rods to secure the jig to the spoil board. I went ahead and marked the holes using easel because I thought it would just be easier. Once you're ready, thread the rods through and secure the jig to your spoil board. And just like that, you've got a custom-made alignment jig, ready to help you tackle your next project. Perfectly square every time. It doesn't get better than this. One accessory closer to a fully tricked out CNC setup. Stick around because next, we're diving into cam clamps. If you've ever worried about keeping your material secure without your hold downs hogging the spotlight, or worse, risking damage to your bits, then let me introduce you to the superhero of CNC accessories, the cam clamp. If designing your own feels intimidating, I've got good news. Inventables offers pre-designed cam clamps on their website, totally free and ready to carve. These are a great way to start if you're a beginner or just want a quick and reliable solution. Now, you know me, I like to tinker. So I decided to design my own clamps and easel to show you just how simple it can be. In easel, I basically drew an uppercase P to fit the size I was going for. Why this shape? Because cam clamps need to rotate to tighten, so this shape works like a charm. I set the cutting depth to match the material thickness and ensured the cut path was set to cut outside the shape. Then I dropped a few drill spots for flexibility. These holes allow the clamp to work with different sizes of material and various clamping needs. Finally, I added a slot in the handle section. This lets the clamp work as a traditional hold down if needed, adding even more versatility to its design. With the design ready, I loaded up some MDF, the same material we use for the spoilboard. But hey, don't let that limit you. Any scrap wood will work as long as you adjust your feed and speed settings for the material and the bit you're using. Now to put these to the test, place your material against the alignment jig that we had made earlier. Then rotate the handle on the cam clamp until it's snug. The beauty here is that these clamps stay out of the way of your bit while keeping your material locked in place. And since they're made of wood, if your bit accidentally touches one, you won't ruin the bit or the clamp. 3 accessories down, 1 more to go. The next one might just be the key to keeping your workshop dust-free and your projects pristine. CNC work is a dusty business. Seriously, one good carve and your workspace can look like a sawmill exploded. So what are your options to tackle this mess? You could just wing it, grab a shop vac, hover it over your CNC mid-project, and hope for the best. It's cheap, it's spontaneous, and it's, well, let's just say, not the most efficient strategy. It works, kind of. But if you like your lungs and your sanity, let's consider something better. You could go the DIY route, with about $20 to $40 in materials like acrylic, PVC pipe, nylon brush. You can build your own dust collection system. It's customizable, it's creative, and it's definitely an option for the adventurous. And if you don't already have the right tools, you might spend more on the tools than the project itself. Or you can save yourself the hassle and pick up a ready-made solution. The Genmitsu dust collection system, for example, is just $34.99. It's designed specifically for this CNC, so it fits perfectly and works right out of the box. For me, this was a no-brainer. I mean, who knows the CNC better than the company that built it? So whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a shop vac gambler, or someone who just wants to keep it simple, there's an option for everyone. Dust collection might not seem exciting, but it's one of those things you'll be glad you did. Your projects, your lungs, and your cleanup time will thank you. You'll learn quickly, a good dust collection setup is the MVP of CNC upgrades. This series was all about taking those first steps, making the CNC less intimidating and more approachable. Whether you followed along, tackled a project, or just started exploring, you've got everything you need to hit the ground running. The beauty of CNC is that it grows with you. Start simple, experiment, and build confidence. Each project is a step toward mastering your craft. So what's next? Well, that's up to you. Maybe it's a gift. Maybe it's a passion project, or maybe it's just something to learn and enjoy. Whatever it is, these tools are here to make it happen. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Your CNC adventure doesn't end here. It's just getting started. Let me know what you're working on, what you're excited about, or what you want to learn next. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, happy carving, happy creating, and happy learning.